So you're thinking about becoming a real estate agent, or you're a new agent and you still need some questions answered. And I know you have a lot of questions. Everything from how much money am I gonna make? How long is it gonna take to start making money? Whether I should join a team or stay solo? What my day will look like? Do I need to be a good salesperson? On and on and on. I get these questions all the time. I have at least 2 to 3 meetings a month about somebody wanting to become an agent. They see us doing all the deals that we do. And you know, I love to give back. I love to help others. So we have meetings, and today I want to make a video answering the question if they should become an agent. Hey guys, my name is Junior Francica, and we have a top producing real estate team here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. If at any point during this video, you yourself are thinking about becoming a real estate agent and you want to have a conversation where I can answer your questions to see about your situation and how to make being a real estate agent work for you, you can book a private Zoom call with me in the description below. I would love to answer your questions, see if it's a good fit for you. I would love to help. With that being said, let's get into today's video. So I'm gonna go over 20 questions and it's gonna be rapid fire. I have them all listed here. I'm gonna read them and then just give you my honest answer. So the first question is that I get a lot is, how much money can I realistically make in my first year as a real estate agent? It varies. I know that's a very general question, but you can make zero like I did my first year, or you can make $125,000 like I did the second time I came into real estate, and everything in between, and even more than that. It really depends on you. Real estate is one of those careers that the sky's the limit, but it all depends on you. So how much money can you make in your first year? I would say you can easily make 6 figures. It's not going to be easy, but you can get there. Typically, more realistically, I would say anywhere from $40,000 to $80,000. But again, it's up to you. If you're a high achiever and you put in the time and you put in the work, you can easily make 6 figures. The other question I get is, do I need to go to college or do I need prior experience to start real estate? The answer is no. You do not need a college degree. I believe if you have a real estate specific college degree, you can get your broker's license, but you don't need that. You're going to be an affiliate broker more than likely when you get your license. So no, you don't need any experience and you don't need a college degree. The other question is, how long does it take to get my license and start working? This varies for everybody. I personally like to take classes in person. When I took my classes, I believe it was about a week and a half to 2 weeks in person, 8 hours a day. I got the class done with. After you take the class, you can sit for your state boards and then get your license. So if you do it in person, it might take 1 to 2 months, depending on you and how much time you need to study. Or you can do the other route, which most people do because they have a job or they do other things in life, is that you can take the classes online. Now that will vary. It could take you a month to finish the classes. It can take you 6 months. So if you are a fast learner or you're on the fast side, I would say a month for the classes and then another 1 to 2 months to take your boards. Or if you're on the slow side, it could take 4 or 6 months for the classes, then another month or 2 to study for the boards and take the test. The other question is what steps do I need to take to get my license? The very first thing to do, like most things in life, go on Google and Google real estate classes by me or near me or your city that you're in. There you're going to find a bunch of different schools in your area, plus online that you can take your classes from. Like I already mentioned, you can do it in person or you can do it online. My advice is to do it in person. It's a ton of information. You have a book this big and you're going to have to take 100 questions on a book like this. So my advice is in person. If you can't, do it online. But the first thing is you need to find the school to take the class. Once you take the class, you're going to sit for a class test. That test is usually pretty easy. And then once you pass that class test, you have to apply for the state test that you're going to take to get your license. With that, you have to do some fingerprinting for the state test, and then you have to actually take your test. Usually it's around 100 to 125 questions. You have about 75 to 100 questions, national questions, and then you have about 20-ish, 25 questions for your state specifically. Once you take that test, which is the hard test, it's either a pass or fail, you get your real estate license number. Now, every state is a little bit different. I originally got my license in Florida, and in Florida, you could join the Realtors Association and then join a brokerage. But here in Tennessee, where I currently am, you first have to join a brokerage and then join the Realtors Association. But either way, you're going to join the Realtors Association because that's where you're going to get access to the MLS and the documents and the tax records and all that good stuff. And then you also have to join a brokerage. Again, joining a brokerage is not something simple. It's not something that you should just join wherever your cousin's at. I've made a video discussing different brokerages, questions that you should ask your broker because it's very important. You're going to give them a lot of money. Make sure you get the best bang for your buck for what you're giving them. Watch that video. And also, again, reach out to me. I can help guide you to the best brokerage depending on your needs. But you're going to join a brokerage, and then once you join a brokerage and you're part of the Realtors Association, you are officially a real estate agent and you can start helping people buy and sell homes. The other question is, how much does it cost to become a real estate agent? So I kind of just broke down everything you had to do. I would say it's anywhere from again, depending on location specific, $1,500 to $2,500. So your real estate class is going to be $300 to $500. Your fingerprinting is going to be about $50. Your state test is going to be $100 to $200. The Realtors Association, that's where it's going to be the most expensive. That alone could be anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 or even a little bit more. I believe we pay about $2,000. Some states are a little bit more expensive. And then you have your brokerage fee that you're going to pay to join a brokerage. That could be anywhere from $100 up to $500 or even a little bit more. So if you put all that together, actually the range might be a little bit more. It might be anywhere from $1,500 to about $3,000. Make sure you take all that into account and have the money before you start the process, and then you don't have enough money to continue the process later on. All right, this question I get all the time, and especially from people that are maybe a little bit more timid or a little bit more shy or not as extroverted, and that is, do you need to be a good talker? Do you need to be an extroverted person when becoming a real estate agent? And the answer is absolutely not. You would think that a good talker or an extroverted person is the best type of salesperson or agent out there. And are they good? Yeah, they're good. But if you really know sales, sales is really the person that can ask the best questions and can listen to the questions. You want to guide your client to the answer and let them get to the answer without you having to convince them that that's the answer, if that makes sense. So no, you don't have to be extroverted. You don't have to be this boisterous, outgoing person, because the clients that you are going to attract, if you build your brand correctly, are the people that resonate with you. So if you're shy, if you're a little bit, timid, you can be timid, but you have to obviously voice your opinion. But if you're shy or an introverted person, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You will attract those people and you will attract those people to your business. So no, you don't have to be boisterous, extroverted, outgoing, or talking, or a talkative person. Another question I get all the time is, what does your day typically look like when you are a real estate agent? Now, this is a very hard question to answer because it varies so much. Like today, I am in the office, I'm shooting content. I had somebody deliver something to my office, and I am going on site to shoot content for a new listing coming out. Then I have a meeting with another agent this afternoon. Then I have to do some training online, and that's today. Yesterday or the day before that or tomorrow could be showings all day. It could be writing offers. Then it could be continuing education classes. Then it could be training one of our agents on our team. And then it could be getting on Zoom calls with people like you looking to get their license. The good thing about real estate agent, it varies all the time. And if you love variation and you don't like to just sit still in your office on your desk, this will be a great profession for you. But more than likely, what your day-to-day looks like is prospecting, meaning trying to get leads somehow, some form, either cold calling, door knocking, doing social media, doing videos, that type of thing. Then after that, you're going to do probably a lot of meetings. If you're new, you're going to meet with lenders and title companies and other agents trying to learn, trying to get better at your craft of being real estate agents, or meeting with clients. And then from there, you're either going to have, showings that you need to do with your clients, or you're going to set them up on showings. You're going to look up documents. When you're under contract in houses, you're going to be putting out fires. You're going to do home inspections. There's so much that goes on in our business that it varies so much. And if you love variability, this is a great profession for you. If you do not like variability, this is something that's going to drive you crazy. Yes, you can build a team, but for the most part, you are going to have to be in a position that you take care of it until you can get people or grow enough to build that team around you, so there's no or not as much variability. But something that I will like to note with what you do as a real estate agent, it's very important that you time block or use a calendar and work out of your calendar. For example, I have Google Calendar and I work out of my calendar. In the morning, I open up my calendar. What do I have to do right now? I'm going to do that right there. I plan my calendar the day or a week before so that the business doesn't run my life. I run the business, right? So I have on my calendar shooting content at this time of this day. Right after this, I know because I already looked at my calendar, I'm going on site to a new listing to shoot content. And then from there, I have stuff blocked out that I will run my day instead of letting the day run me. Now, you can move things back and forth. Sometimes things take priority over others, but please, please, please run your business and your life and your real estate agent life through your calendar. It will save you a ton of time. The other question, or maybe more of a statement that people tell me why they want to be a real estate agent, is because they say it's flexible. You know, I want to have flexibility in my life. So they ask, is it flexible, or do I need to work nights and weekends? And the answer is yes, it is flexible, but yes, you're going to have to work nights and weekends, but yes, it is also flexible. So it's flexible in the sense that I can go at 11 a.m. with my kids to the park for 30 minutes and then maybe have lunch with them right after that. But then guess what? I'm working all day and I might have to show some houses or do something in the evening time. I could probably take a random Wednesday off if the kids, or a random Wednesday morning off if the kids want to go to the aquarium, but that means I might be working on Sunday afternoon because I have an open house or I have some buyers or clients from out of town. So is it flexible? Yes, it's flexible enough that you can make things a priority that you want to make a priority. But if you want to actually succeed in this business and grow, you are going to have to work a lot more than you do in a 9 to 5. This is not a job that at 5 p.m., I can turn off my phone, turn everything off, I'm done for the day. No, you're going to get calls at 5:30. You're going to have showings at 6, 7, even 8 p.m. at night. You're going to have showings on the weekend. I personally do not work Friday evening to Saturday evening on Sabbath. I have made that a staple of my business. I have not worked one Saturday since 2018 that I've been in this business. Have I lost clients? Yeah, I've probably lost a handful of clients, but for the most part, everybody respects the boundaries, and that's something that you're gonna have to learn. Yes, it is flexible, but you're gonna have to have boundaries and you're gonna have to hold to that boundary. So it's flexible, but at the same time, you're gonna work a lot more than you think if you want to be successful and get to the place that you have hoped for as a real estate agent. The other question is how do new agents find clients when they don't know anybody? Whether you're new to a city, or maybe you don't have a lot of friends, or maybe you do have a lot of friends and you still want to know how to find clients. The way that you find clients or leads is that you have to prospect. Prospecting is probably anywhere from 60 to 80% of the job. You need leads, you need clients to work with. If not, you're not going to eat. You can be the best salesperson and you can have the best systems out there, but if you don't have any leads or clients or prospects to put in those systems or work on with sales, it doesn't mean anything. Prospecting is the most important thing in your business. Now, how can we go about that? We can do this many different ways. And when you're new, you're going to try a lot of different things to see which you like and which one you're going to make a pillar of your business. I'm going to try to name as many as I can think of off the top of my head, but all of these work. It's really up to you and which one you like. You have cold calling. You have door knocking. When, yes, you go around neighborhoods and knock on doors and talk to people. You have people that go to Starbucks and literally talk to everybody in Starbucks. Just sit down in front of somebody, strike up a conversation and talk to them. You have people that go to grocery stores and talk to strangers. You have people that are on Facebook and make Facebook groups. I know somebody online that has a ton of Facebook groups in different communities, and all they do is refer people to other agents. They are a real estate agent, but they don't work any of the deals. But when you refer people out, you get a cut of the deal, and that's how they run their business and that's how they make money. You can do video and social media. You can do YouTube videos like this. I have a whole other YouTube channel that's just specific to my area where I used to lead generate for clients. And yes, people reach out to me because if they're moving from out of town and I'm giving them all this information, they feel comfortable enough to reach out to me, and that's how I get some leads. You have builders that you can build relationships with. We have a townhouse community that's coming up for sale here in the next month or two of 57 units. We got in with the development team and we were able to get the project to sell here in the area. So builders is a good one. Your friends and family, you can literally get your phone out, scroll, pick your 300, 100, 150, pick a number, doesn't matter, and call all those people and say, hey, I'm in real estate. I love what I'm doing. I'm so excited. And go into your script, whatever it is. You can find a bunch online, either something along the lines of like, I'm so excited. Do you know anybody looking buy or sell? I'm so ready to get into the business, so on and so forth. That's one way to lead generate. Now you have Instagram and TikTok. You can make reels, educational reels. There's just so many different ways and avenues to lead generate. It's really up to you and how you want to build your business. And I'd even discuss how you can buy leads from Zillow. You know, when you go on Zillow and you put in your information to see a house, that's actually an agent that bought your lead off of Zillow, so you can pay Zillow to send you leads. There's so many different avenues to grow and prospect, but it's very important that you choose the ones that you want to build your business off of. For example, if you just start buying leads off of Zillow, but you really wanted to do more social media content, you're going to build a business off of Zillow and buying leads, and before you know it, you're not going to be able to switch because your business is built on this instead of this over here, which is what you wanted. So be very careful how you build your business. Be very intentional in how you go about it. The other question is what's the hardest thing about being a real estate agent? Now, depending on what day or what week you ask me that question is going to be a different answer. And that's because it just always changes. Every day or every week, there's a new challenge with real estate, but there are some things that I didn't know going into it about being a real estate agent that you should definitely know. One of the things is that, yes, it's a sales job, but what you are more than anything is you are a counselor to people. This is a very emotional purchase. I've had pastors borderline curse me out during the transaction when I didn't do anything wrong, but guess what? I had to accept that, and then I had to calm them down, and then eventually they bought the house and they love it and we're good friends today. You are a counselor. People's emotions go up and down, and you can't chase them up and you can't chase them down. You have to stay even keeled, because if you let them take you up and down, you're going to have a miserable and super stressful life as an agent. So that's one of the things that I had no idea about, and it's very hard when you don't either enjoy that or you don't know how to do that and help people through this emotional process. Another thing is it's making enough money when you're new. More than likely, you're not going to make a closing probably for 3 to 6 months at least. So are you going to be able to work part-time jobs and work all the time, plus trying to build your real estate business on the side? Can you even go that long without getting paid? It's very stressful to do that, and that's why there's such a big dropout rate for new agents. And there's so many other factors about why being a real estate agent is hard, but every day is different and every day has new challenges. But those are kind of the two main things that I personally went through when I first became an agent that was very tough for me. Another question I get is what separates those agents that succeed from those agents that fail? And honestly, it's just action takers. It doesn't matter how you choose to grow your business initially. It doesn't matter how you choose to prospect initially. You just have to do it. Pick 3 to 5 things and just go do them. Figure it out. Do those 5 things as much as possible. Maybe you don't like 1, 2, and 3, but maybe you like 4 and 5. Great. Keep 4 and 5, add another one or a second one, and then see what you like. You just need to take action. You're gonna learn by doing things rather than pontificating and using ChatGPT to learn. You need to go and do. The more you do, the better you're gonna get, and that's what makes people successful. Even if you suck. I sucked. I sold nothing my first year. I've already made a video with my story. I'll link it up or below, that I was in real estate for 10 months. I sold nothing, left, came back 3 years later, and then all of a sudden was successful. And the difference is that the second time I actually took action. Had no idea what I was doing, but I figured it out along the way. And the second thing is that you're gonna have to figure things out. There's so many issues that go on with real estate that people have no idea what goes on behind the scenes, and you are gonna have to figure things out. You can't wait for the title company to find the answer that you need. You can't wait for the home inspector to get back to you with a contractor that they have. You can't wait for all these scenarios where it's really other people's jobs, but you are there to be the counselor to your client and to be the fire putter outer, like I like to call it, because you are representing your client. You're doing everything to get them to the closing table so that they can buy the house and so that you can get paid. So you have to take it upon yourself to go put out all these fires and help all these different people that, let's be real, a lot of people don't know how to do their jobs or don't do their jobs adequately because they're just punching in and out, and they're good with that. But if you want to be exceptional, if you want to grow and deliver to your clients, you are going to have to be able to take on a lot more than you think and be able to handle a bunch of situations that you are not prepared for, but you're going to have to figure it out. The next thing is how do commission splits work, and how much of my paycheck do I actually get paid? Now, again, very specific to different brokerages. Usually the brokerage splits are 80-20 or 90-10 or 70-30 for normal brokerages. And then you have brokerages that are a fee specific brokerage, meaning from every transaction, you only pay $100 or $200 or $300 or $500 or whatever the case may be. Be very careful with those brokerages. There's nothing wrong with them, but you're paying a lot less, so you are going to get a lot less in return. If you're more of an experienced agent, or you have an uncle and aunt that's going to mentor you and guide you, and you don't need too much from your brokerage, that might be a great fit for you. But if you need a little bit more mentorship or training or software and all these different things, a different brokerage might be better for you. So let's just break down a commission check, right? So let's use $300,000, and I'll put the numbers on your screen. I'm using my calculator over here. And let's say you have an 80-20 split like at my brokerage at eXp Realty. From the $300,000, let's say the commission is 3%. That's about $9,000 in commission. So from there, the brokerage is gonna take 20%, so you're left with $7,200. From $7,200, that's your revenue. Okay, from your revenue, you're gonna deduct your taxes and then your expenses to get your profit. Okay, so from your revenue of $7,200, you're gonna put to the side anywhere from 20 to 30% for your taxes. So let's just say 25%, let's go halfway. You're left with $5,400. Now this is where you take any expense that you had, whether it's trying to say for the MLS dues membership. Here we have Supra, which is how we open our lock boxes, business cards, signs, so on and so forth. I'm gonna leave it as is and not take too much, but I'm actually just gonna take a couple $100. So we're at $5,400. Let's say I take off $400. I'm left with $5,000. So from a $9,000 paycheck, I'm left with about $5,000, depending based off the split that I have with my company. Now that's because I'm a solo agent. If you are part of a team, you're gonna deduct even more from that scenario, and you'll probably end up with about $2,500 to maybe $3,000. So that's how commission splits work. Depending on your brokerage and what your splits are and how they're negotiated, that's how everything kind of breaks down and what you're left with at the end of the commission check. The other question I get is, should I join a team or should I be solo? I've made a whole video on that and questions you should ask your team and questions you should ask yourself. If you want to be solo, check that out, linked above or below in the description. But it depends. Giving you a very quick answer, being solo is everything's on your shoulders, everything's your fault, whether good or bad. And yes, you make more money, but again, it's all on you. If you like that pressure, if you're a go-getter, try being a solo, because you can always join a team later on. But if you want to start off and maybe make money a little faster, you typically make money faster on a team because you get fed leads, you have a lot more training, a lot more structure, go the team route. But it's like a 9-to-5 job. They will tell you where to be, at what time, and what you got to do. You're plugging into somebody's structure, so you're not going to have as much flexibility if that's important to you. And also you're going to be capped. You will make money faster, but you're typically going to have a cap of how much you can make because the splits are there and the team does take money away. Whereas solo, it usually takes a little bit longer to make money, but once you start making money, there's an unlimited ceiling that you can make, and you can even start your own team to make even more money. So should you join a team or stay solo? It's really up to you and depending on your situation. The other question I get a lot is, what type of training can I expect from my brokerage, and is there any mentoring that I should expect as well? And the answer is, it depends. When I first started in 2018, there was a brokerage, Keller Williams, that was like, oh, they have the best training. Go there for a couple of years, they'll train you, and then you can go anywhere else. But in today's market, I feel like most brokerages, most big name brokerages have sufficient training for anybody wanting to join. There are some that are a little better than others. I am obviously very biased and believe my company, eXp Realty, has the best training out there, but it's up to you. Talk to many different brokerages, see who has the best training for your situation. And as far as mentorship goes, most brokerages, you are going to have to pay somebody to mentor you unless you have a friend or an uncle or aunt that can take you under their wing. If you're looking for more of a mentorship type of training, reach out to me. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I meet with agents all the time. I help mentor them. I help change your mindset. I help get your marketing established, and I can help you move your business forward. So again, schedule calls me in the link below, and I would love to help you. But yes, all brokerages have training, have schooling, have classes. Not all of them have mentorship. So make sure you ask all those questions when you're interviewing different brokerages. The other question is more of a statement, or sometimes a question: do I need to spend a lot of money on marketing and advertisement to get started? And the answer is no. I spent $0 getting started. Well, I bought a GoPro and I bought a selfie stick. I think that was a couple $100. And from there, I just started making videos and posting them online on YouTube, where it's free, and Facebook and social media and all these different places. That's how I personally built my business, and it was free. And to this day, we do not spend any money on advertising. Yes, we buy better equipment. Yes, we have lighting. We have really nice cameras and all these other things, but it's not something that you need to get started. Everybody has a phone. All you need to do is buy a $15 selfie stick on Amazon, maybe get a nice little microphone that I have here, and that's all you need to get started. Start making content, start putting yourself out there. So you don't need to spend a ton of money like people tell you to, unless you want to build a business that you're buying leads. That's a little bit different. Maybe you can use a credit card. I highly suggest you don't use credit cards, but save some cash up, 1, 2, 3, 5 grand and start buying leads if that's how you want to grow your business. But you absolutely do not need money to start growing your business on advertisement and marketing. Another question is, how many hours should I expect to work as a new agent a week? And the answer is yes. And that means it's up to you. If you want to be a part-time agent, you're going to get part-time results. If you want to be a full-time agent, you're going to get full-time results. Now, if you want to really grow and you really want to scale and you want to be a rock star agent, you got to put in rock star hours, if that makes sense. What does that mean? It means that you're going to wake up and you're going to work all day. And then if you have kids like me, you're going to go home, sometimes have dinner, put them to bed, and then you're going to work again after they go to bed. On the weekends, you're going to work. You're going to work and build a business that you are proud of. If that's a part-time agent and you just want to sell 5 to 10 homes a year, awesome, do that. I have friends that their goal is 10 homes a year. They make 70 grand. Everything else in their life is stable and that's all they need. And they live the best life. I want a lot more than that. And there's nothing wrong with either side. You just have to know what you want, because if you get on social media and you see the Sirhants of the world and all these different influencers doing all this business, you're going to be sucked into wanting more. And if you don't want that, there's going to be a ton of friction and you're not going to know why you're so stressed and anxious all the time. And that's because you're not following what you want in your path. You need to figure out first, what do I want out of real estate? What's my income goal? What's my lifestyle goal? And you might, even if you just want 10 a year, you might have to work your butt off for the first 2 to 3 to 4 years just to get to that point to where, okay, now I can do 10 a year at a little bit slower pace, right? That doesn't mean we're not going to work hard. We're definitely going to work hard when we are new agents, but we have a plan and we have a goal in mind. Another question is what if I go months without closing? Or what if I don't sell my first house for the first 6 months? And my answer is always, you got to figure it out, or you got to maintain your income, or you got to make money somehow to be able to build your business. Sometimes people work a full-time job and do real estate part-time for a year, 2 or 3 years while they build that up and then make the transition. Now, depending on who you're asking, if you're part of the Dave Ramsey crowd, he wants you to build up your income to where you're almost matching where you're currently making and then make the jump. On my end, I was working a full-time job. I still had no closings. I quit my job cold turkey. Well, not cold turkey. I was building the real estate up maybe 3 months, quit my job with no closings. I had a couple of clients. It was just really me praying and putting my life in God's hands and saying, please do something with it. And then I was able to be successful. And then you have people in the middle. Maybe you're working full time and then you back up to part-time while you build the real estate up. There's no wrong answer here, and it's really up to you. Maybe you should have some reserves. People say you need at least 6 months reserve. I had 0 reserves, but I also didn't make that much money to be able to have reserves. So everybody's situation is different. So if you go a couple months without getting any closings, guess what? You're going to do Uber night. You might have to pick up a waiter position at a restaurant. You might have to do different things to keep yourself afloat until you build that business that consistently lead generates for you and gives you closings. Since I've had my first closing after I quit my job, it took me about three months. I did Uber, landscaping. I did a bunch of stuff to make money until I got my first closing. Thank God I have not had 1 month without at least one closing. Now, there have been months that one closing was like an $85,000 trailer, and I cried and prayed and thank God for that $85,000 trailer. But it's been a long time since then, and I have not had a month without one closing, but that's because we put the time in, we put the work in to consistently lead generate in our business, and that's something that you're gonna have to do as well. Another question that sometimes I get is real estate stable? Is it a viable long-term career? And the answer is yes. But again, I go back to, if you're going to be a part-time agent, you're going to get part-time results. If you're going to be a full-time agent, you're going to get full-time results. It's a career that's very hard. It's a career that's very challenging and demanding, very stressful at times, but it's something that you can build a business to generate a lot of money for you and your family in your future while helping other people. So is it a stable career? Yes, but you are always going to have to pivot with the market. During COVID, houses were flying off the market. The last year or two, at one point, we had 18 listings under contract and none of them were moving, right? So yes, it is stable, but it's really something that you're constantly gonna have to put effort into to make it stable. And then finally, what is the biggest misconception that people have with real estate? And that's really more my question that I'm giving to you guys. And the biggest misconception is that, again, you look at social media, you see the Sirhants and all these different peoples of the world, and wherever you're located, I'm sure there's social media influencers that are real estate agents. And it looks easy, right? You think that, and I kind of thought this, not really, but yeah, I kind of thought this. I'm going to get my license, and then guess what? All my friends or family are going to use me. And guess what happened? The first year and a half, I didn't have one friend. We don't have family that live here. I didn't have one friend use me until a year and a half later. And that's because it takes a while to people change their perception of you in their mind. It takes them a while. Like for me, I did landscaping. I was a photographer. I did so many different things that when I became an agent, they're like, oh, that's just something else he's doing. And it took them a year and a half and me constantly marketing and branding myself for them to be like, you know what? He's a professional now. Let's use him. And now 5 years later, any circle I go to, I'm the real estate guy. I get people texting me, calling me all the time. Hey, I'm thinking about buying land. What do you think? Hey, my mom is moving here. Can you help them? I'm that person now because I built that brand over time, over the years. But the misconception is that you're going to get your license and everybody's going to use you and you're going to get all this business and all this money. And that's absolutely not how it works. That's why there's like a 90% fail rate within 1 to 2 years as a real estate agent, is because it's so much work and you have to get out of your comfort zone to be successful as an agent. Doing these videos like this, I had to do my first video and I still remember to this day, it took me 4 hours to shoot 4 minutes. I've done this video and I basically just talked to the camera and I feel a lot more comfortable, but that's 5 years later. I had to get on videos. I didn't want to get on videos. I don't like how I look. I don't like how I sound. I don't like what others are going to perceive of me because I'm not successful. So how am I talking about real estate and all these different things? It doesn't matter. This mind game that you're going to have as a new agent, you have to get over it and act until you become. So the misconception is that's going to be easy, but that's not the case. Well, that's today's video, guys. I hope I was able to answer questions that a lot of people have and give you my true, honest thoughts. Again, if you're looking to be an agent, or maybe you're an agent and you're frustrated where you are in your business, schedule a call with me or just shoot me a text, find me on social media. I would love to connect with you guys. And I love giving back and helping other agents that are frustrated because I was frustrated. I failed at real estate and I came back and I did things differently and I made money and I'm able to do things with my life that I've only dreamed about. But I've been there, I failed, I've done a lot of things that have been super stressful. So if that's your situation or you're trying to make the change to becoming a real estate agent, reach out to me. We'll love to talk to you. Until next time, take care and God bless.